I sent it as a PDF.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Live with Joan. And I am Joan. I'm looking now for, oh, there we go. We are going to do a really fun recap of some intense stuff, so it won't feel like so fun, but it will be fun, I think, because this is my kind of fun, is getting down and getting dirty. So let's see, I'll give it a minute for people to come on, right?
Okay, I'm looking.
I'm drinking out of a cup that Kim Nishida gave me. I talked to Kim the other day, and I'm hoping one day she'll find a way to get back to the lives. So
we have people joining us.
There's Maria. All right, well, I'm going to introduce today and alive. So if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the program is for people that want to learn animal communication or be an animal communicator, to learn energy healing or be an energy healer, and to really start to foster an ability to learn and do something with nature and wildlife. We've got a whole huge program we're building out. I know I've been saying that for years, but it really is happening. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming up. And what's coming up are all sorts of things. Of course, the Spring Intensive is this week, starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that part is all animal communication. And then it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the EFT for animals. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is animal communication and healing in sanctuaries. And we have lots of amazing places that we're communicating with animals. Some of them are friends of the school, like the Gentle Barn and the Gibbons Center. And I really, I want to say a few things about all of it. And first of all, if we are also building out a big part of the school, which is going to be almost like a graduate program for people that don't want to carry on to go on to teacher training. People that are in teacher training this minute are eligible to take these classes, but it's really looking like specializing in things like working in rescues and being able to help animals that are compromised, whether they've been in the shelter too long or they are a function of factory farming, whatever it is. We have a whole system of that being really important and advanced work. And maybe, Claudia, for a moment, you could share why. I forgot to tell you that I was going to ask you something.
I already have stuff pulled up.
Okay, so maybe you could just share just a teeny bit about why this work is, just a quickie on why this work, working with the rescues, and why you have to be super advanced, and what some of the people are like on the calls.
So I'm going to start with why. I just want to quote what we got this morning. I got an email from one of the rescues he's worked with, and he said that this work is so important in such difficult situations to see even minor progress and to have hope. Because a lot of times, and that's him, but a lot of times we're so caught up in the moment of what we're looking at, the trauma, the shock, the shutdown, the fear, the panic, all of that we forget to take or it's not we forget, it's really hard to take a step back and look at the whole and to truly see the animal's essence, because sometimes you can't see it. So when animal communication comes in and we're able to show who the dog is beyond that shutdown mode, it's really powerful, and we've experienced it since we started this program. And I'm sure a lot of the people that are in the class are on watching the live right now. We've all agreed that it's really powerful to watch the rescue, the person that's representing the rescue. It's almost like they feel a sense of, okay, we're on the right path, or okay, oh wow, it's on their own, they come up with ideas. So what we're doing for the rescues is really powerful. One of the students, Susie Reed, if she's
Susie's
on
on here. Susie, you can chime in anything you want about what that rescue call is like. But go ahead.
She said that she knew there was a need always, but she didn't quite understand how essential animal communication is in the rescue community.
Mm-hmm.
It's life and death. And sometimes, no matter what we do and no matter what we get, it's beyond our control. And what I will say about this program in this school is we had a really tough case. And I watched as the students, which are also my fellow classmates, I watched as everybody was grounded. We didn't go into, oh my God, devastation, because we were there to hold space for that animal. And there's no way, I'm speaking for me in this moment, there's no way that I would have ever been able to do that if I hadn't learned the tools that I've learned in this program. That would have taken me down, and then I would have been zero good for that animal, and I wouldn't have been able to be of service.
And this is really important to talk about because we're gonna go through the handouts and go through each of the speakers and talk about that. It's really important that all the things that we learned, also the things that we know to do, animal communication and energy healing, are also a huge part of how to help animals. And so to get into this newer sort of graduate, or it'll become a single certification for rescues and sanctuaries and zoos and what have you. You have to do, it all starts with animal communication level 1. And so I'm just going to point out that we have another one starting April 27th. And then we also have an energy healing for animals class starting May 12th. And all of these have live calls and a ton of material that you can get right off the bat with the back end of the school. A ton of material. And also, I finished chapter 5 late last night. So I'm working on a book called EFT for Animals. I haven't officially announced it yet, but it's due April 30th, and I have this intensive, and I had booked a flight like 9 months ago to go visit my brother, whom I haven't seen since COVID. So I may be spending the whole time in Maui writing, but we'll see. I'm kind of working on getting the place ready for people by day and writing by night. So anyway, so this is the EFT, the way that I teach EFT is just, it's going to up level, and and that means also for those that are sitting on the fence, probably this time next year I will not be teaching as much because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a second book deal with this company. So right away. So that's that. So that's my exciting news. So we have lots of really great things coming up. And so I want to get started. For those, did any of you get the handout that we put out on how to help animals recap? And I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I'm going to go through, and I would love for you, so it looks like this. And there's Claudia. You won't have Claudia in the corner, though. So, Claudia is, while I'm getting the other handout that you will get, for those that are signed up for the handout, there's an advocacy kit coming, but we just didn't get it finished. But I'm going to be kind of reading from that. I'm going to really kind of, yeah, okay. So we've got some great quotes, but Claudia, maybe you could say who all is here and we'll give a big hello to everyone.
Okay, so Claire Trost is on. Hello, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
And Leslie Williams and Tanya Hafe. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Leslie and Tanya.
Nancy Virginia Perkey.
Hi, Nancy.
Maury Manning.
Hi, Maury.
Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Joyce Lee Leggett, I guess
Joyce.
is how you pronounce it. Chris Wilson. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Heidi Evans Ensley.
Hi, Heidi. I'm going to see so many of you so soon.
I'm so jealous. Excited. Whatever. I'm not having FOMO. Susanna Cantor.
Hi, Denise.
Hi, Yasmin. Yasmin is
on. Can we put the, do you have the link for the handout?
I'll see if, I'll look for it.
I would text Jessica real quick.
Okay.
Because some people don't have it.
Okay, hold on. So Sandy Galindo is on, and Jane Wu, and
Hi, Jane and
Susie.
Sandy. And Susie.
Susie responded to, she said, it's altering my mind in regards to the rescue call, controlling my emotions for the good of animals and the precious caregivers.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And, thank you for saying that, Susie, because it is so, when we go into, I always say that you come into the program as an animal lover and you leave as an animal person. And I know, Susie, you've been a massage therapist for equines and you've got a crazy fun farm that I'm ready to move on to. But, there are ways in which we come off more professionally after having gone through all that we go through in the program. And for those that have any questions at all, Shannon is always standing by, and that's info@joanranquet.com, and she can talk to you about your path, how to get started, all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and I know that Claudia will also be putting in the links. Oh, Yasmin has the link for the handout.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Yasmin. Okay. So our first guest was Sarah Mccrum. Look at this is so funny. Okay. So I've got really wet dogs out on the catio. There's Sarah and Claudia.
Warn me.
I couldn't resist. Well, if you see the iPad moving, you know you're going somewhere. Anyway, so Claudia picked out some of the better quotes from the lives.
It's still in progress.
Yeah, but so when we think about the idea of like how do we help animals, and aside from animal communication and energy healing, even if we can't get there yet, Sarah said the people who really want to, with their heart, make the world, the people that really want to, with their heart, make the world a better place. There's actually quite a lot that we need to get into gear, and it's one of the things that's very challenging for people who are highly sensitive or are highly empathic, is that we get in our way. It's not an expression I like very much, but we get in our way in many ways, that we don't realize that we are stopping us from doing what we want. And you see that in our relationship with money, which is what I work with, but so she sees that a lot with money. But everybody I work with, who I work with more or less, is highly sensitive, is empathic, often to human beings, many of them also with animals. And it's that sensitivity that opens us up to the kind of more subtle world, and is what makes you able, for example, to connect with animals. So she's really talking, we must become strong and able to handle everything that gets thrown at us. And if you're trying to do something, that flies in the face of that direction, that life sometimes appears to be going, you need that extra piece of strength use that for yourself. And that also, she said, applies to your relationship with money. So she talked about the 3 things that you can do right now. So for those of you that saw this, I would love for you to take your hand out and go to that first part, and I talked about your mission is bigger than your feelings, and we'll probably come back to that. But if we go to, if you take a moment and either write out in your handout or type in what it is that you felt like you really learned from Sarah Mccrum. I think that, and then she talked about what are the 3 things I can do right now. And she said, she said, relax about money, but actually just relax. Relax in yourself, in your being, and that will help you with money. And money is such an important part with helping animals, right? Like, if I had $1 million, well, I need more than $1 million because I need like $5 million. I had $5 million right now. What would it be like to just say, okay, I'm going to go over to Ukraine and get all those animals out, right? Like, I mean, really, seriously, it would take more than $1 million to do what I want to do. So the number 2 thing she said is ask for what you want. And then the number 3 thing she said is actually enjoy your life. Do whatever you need to do. Do it with enjoyment. Have fun. Really just relax. Enjoy. Don't be too serious about everything. That blocks money. Ask for what you want. Enjoy or relax. Those are the things that really opens this up. And so I'm going to be having a really special webinar with her June 6th, but I'll be sharing more about that coming up. Okay, so then what are people typing in? About money and Sarah Mccrum.
I'm reading. Susie said money is energy in itself. Relax. Claire Trost said that money is my friend. I'm reading Sandy's. Yes. Loretta Ayat says, I love Sarah Mccrum's energy overall, and the vision of money as a flowing energy wanting to help us all achieve our goals is wonderful. They're popping up, so we'll just give them a minute.
Okay. So that was a very, very powerful live, I thought. So then, yes.
Do you want me to share remember what I told you happened to me when I was washing my dishes after that live?
Yeah.
I was washing my dishes, and I swear I heard a voice in the back of my head. I'm not hearing voices. I know it's in my head. I heard, well, I'm also an animal communicator, so I could have heard an animal. I said, I heard, I've never let you down. And it was really powerful because the truth is that this perception I always have of money that, oh my God, I don't have enough for this or that. I have never been let down by money, ever. It always shows up when I need it. So I just wanted to share that tidbit.
It's true.
We've got more.
Okay.
Tanya says, don't hold on so tight and live in fear of not having enough. That's pretty much, yeah. Yes.
Okay. So our next guest was Sophie Gamon, and there's Claudia and Sophie. Claudia's now going to be with the Flower Power. And if you remember, Sophie is the famous photographer that started this trend. Oops, I'm moving Claudia. And so one of the things she said is, I think art is actually one of the best tools we have as humans because art is really a direct way of communicating your ideas with one piece of music or whatever your art form is, your art expression. You can touch people at such a deep level and it's instant. people see a photo or hear music and they feel. They know what they're feeling. So I think art is a powerful tool. So anybody who's creative should really honor their gift and use it. And then she was talking about photographing the animals, which she was very profound with how she photographed them. And if you remember the live, she had actually, I didn't know this, she had actually been afraid of pit bulls. And so she said, I think it's a privilege to see them in that moment and to help set them up for success, which means, in my world, capturing a beautiful portrait that captures their joyfulness, their cheekiness, their beauty, their soulfulness, and hoping that that portrait is going to connect with an adopter. And then when we asked her about what it was like to be overly sensitive, and could people that are overly sensitive actually go into shelters and do this work, she said, if it's overwhelming for you, just imagine how it is for the animals. That makes me want to cry. Powerful. Yeah, that just makes me want to cry. And she talked a lot about self-care, which was really great. She said, some people have time, some people have money, some people have skills. She said, start local. That was one of the ways that she talked about. Do things. And I think one of the bigger things that we can take from everything everybody said is that, we have to connect up. Like, we have a powerful group here. Who knows what we could actually do here if we all got together and did something. I know there are a lot of people in the big program or graduates that are going to be part of this initiative, if you will, of educating in shelters, so that we have forever homes. But there's, there are lots of, it's linking up with others. It's not being on an island. And she talks about looking into the organizations that that you want to help with, even if it's just donating money, not just donating money, but so that you know that it's a reliable organization, and research what's already there and support the organizations that are already doing the work. And that's so important. So anyway, I would love for everybody to go to their little handout and make some notes and share with us what it is that you learned from Sophie.
Okay, give them a minute to respond. Okay, so Charlie Kale said, it made me feel so much less guilty when she says it's okay to feel overwhelmed. We aren't expected to do it all. Just start small and connect with others so we can create bigger support together.
Yeah. And it comes back to connecting up, right? Like, we have to stay connected. And it's easy when we feel terrible about these things to isolate, right? Or to go down, or to hide for a week, or to all the coping mechanisms we have for overwhelm of the world. I think every empath has spent days in bed, right?
Me?
Yeah, spent my 30s in just tailspin about the world. So now that I'm old, I can do it. Is anyone else typing anything?
Susanna Cantor said she offered free dog walking for her locals in need, and many of them said thank you, but nobody contacted her. It takes a minute for people to trust someone doing something out of goodness.
Yeah, I think it not only takes a minute for people to trust, but most organizations are so overwhelmed right now.
Yeah,
We've got coming out of COVID, and then a lot of Europe and Asia's going back into COVID, so who knows?
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it takes a little bit. Okay, so our next speaker was Andrew Harvey, and oh, I don't have a picture of him to put with
No, we don't have the pictures yet. No.
Claudia. So Andrew Harvey really talked about sacred activism. And what he said was, now the world is listening because the crisis is here. And so this is a terrifying moment, but it's also a moment of overwhelming opportunity to put divine love and wisdom and patience and passion and compassion into radical action. The real path is the path that the great prophets, that Jesus and the great women mystics have taken, which is the path of realizing that when you experience divine love, it's because you must show the responsibility of that experience. And the responsibility is to donate your whole life to put into action to birth the new humanity out of the hot, smoldering ashes of the old. And first you must have to really go through a revolution in your consciousness, because you can love animals but still by the patriarchal way of keeping animals is adorable and inferior and needing your protection, and that blocks you from the great realization that animals are just as sacred, just as important as you are, that you are equal to them and they are equal to you. And they not only have an enormous amount to teach us all, the second great revolution that has to take place is that everyone now has to wake up to what we are doing to animals. We've created a worldwide Auschwitz in which we are torturing them to death. This is a genocide on a massive global scale and is directly the result of our patronizing of animals, our using them for our own purposes, our denigration of their holiness. And the third thing that we have to realize, and this is what makes you into an animal person, I think, is that if we continue to do this, we will create, and are creating now, a tsunami of black karma that will wipe us off the face of the earth, because when you wake up to the mother, the great mother, you realize that everything is unbearably beautiful, sacred, and if you violate that sacredness, there are consequences. And this genocide that we've created on the earth for animals out of our hubris and our madness is resulting in a huge wave of black karma that is now sweeping the earth and will wipe us out if we don't undergo a radical change and humble up and dedicate ourselves not just to the preservation of the human race, but the establishment of safe zones and deep care on every level for animals of every kind.
Wow.
So there, that's all. I have nothing else to say. He said it for me. It's, yeah, so did anyone learn anything from him? And if you didn't see that one and you just heard that, are you driven to go back and check it out? Because he was something else.
Claire Trost says, wow, Andrew Harvey was phenomenal. Maria says, wow is right. Charlie said something funny. She says the first thing she thinks of with Andrew Harvey is Susie Mara Reid's new boyfriend.
Yeah, I remember that.
So do I. Jane Moo says it's so powerful. Charlie Kale says he blew us all away.
Yeah.
I recommend, because I went through the whole thing again, that to watch it a few times, to be honest with you. Because it's like layers that just...
It is layers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate that I've read a lot of his material and been aware of him for a long time, so I'm used to that gargantuan beingness and elegance and brilliance. So, anyone else have anything to say about Andrew Harvey?
Waiting. Cheryl Cook says she missed it and she's going to make sure to watch it now.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's so good. Every time I got done, I was like, that was the best one. They all were the best ones, but that was one of the best ones. Okay, so our next guest was Ellie Lax.
Ellie.
And Ellie is founder of the Gentle Barn. And she said, being an empath is a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, walking this earth as an empath, it hurts, it's painful, we see things that don't make sense to us and that are causing harm to others, and we wear all the feelings of all the things that are happening in the world in our own hearts. And it's so very, very, very painful. But on the other hand, it's a real blessing and a gift to be an empath because we're so aware and because we're so awake and because we're so connected, we can really make a change. My whole life I wanted to be off this planet, but in that moment, something made me choose life and I said yes to life, and I said yes to who I am, and the way out of that hole, and the way to survive from that point forward was for me to embrace every single solitary aspect of who I am. Talking to animals even when people think I'm crazy, loving nature even though people don't agree, wanting to save animals even though most of the world is destroying them, and just being that light and being that authentic self no matter where I was, no matter what other people thought of it. And little by little by little, I started really appreciating myself and finding a way that I could take who I am and contribute to the world, which is to open the Gentle Barn, to save animals, and to help people see how amazing these animals are through my eyes. When I was a child, going through the angst and pain of growing up, it was always animals that I turned to, and it was animals that I cried to. Anyway, it's a lot, so I'm gonna...
Yeah.
So, did anyone learn anything from Ellie?
Susie Mara Reed says, Ellie is flipping amazing. Oh, now you censor yourself, Susie. Leslie Williams says, amazing lady. No, it's a little delayed, so we'll give it a minute. It was really hard not to put the whole interview on as a quote because everybody said so many powerful things. Bernadette says, Ellie is an amazing warrior for animals. Yes. Mm-hmm. Hi, Bernadette.
Hi, Bernadette. All right. Our next guest was Jill Angelo with the rescue...
It's Moondog Farm.
Moondog Farm. And she... it was really great because we had all these big, I've been walking through Home Depot with Susie. That's awesome. So, when we talk about doing something local, doing something where we're local, Jill Angelo personified that. Like, she is who each of us would go to in our local community. She is the epitome of just absolutely doing whatever you have to. She was so great. She was so helpful. And she takes in the absolute impossible to adopt. And one of the things she said is, I think any of us who are in this business could also say that there's a rejuvenation and regeneration that comes with it. When it's your calling, somehow you seem to have a reservoir that you didn't know you had until you needed it. And it's there. You just pull from it, and somehow it miraculously is there. You don't get stuck in traffic as much. All those kinds of little signs from the universe that you are on the right track. So she really talked about being a steward and an advocate, and she really I love that she said not every dog is a bait dog. If I had a dime for every time I've said that, it's not even funny. Every dog was not intention was um, not every dog was abandoned intentionally. Some dogs really do get lost, and some dogs with long fur get lost. And she said it's hard not to carry judgment. Um, and she talked about that we can't judge, um, that we have to have time for decompression, and that, getting every cat, dog, gerbil, rabbit out means that, she's got to adopt so that she can create more space to be able to keep taking in more. So I know more stuff came in about Ellie. Um,
Yeah.
But I want to get to what did we learn from Jill? I mean, Jill was literally boots on the ground, and I think it's really important. I mean, and one of the reasons I wanted to have her on is that so many people have this fantasy of having their own rescue, and I feel like if that wasn't a little sobering, I don't know what is, because it's, are you that person? And I mean, I have 10 animals, and Shannon just popped on, and Shannon has a million animals, and Claudia has a million animals, and I don't think twice about the fact that, Susie has a million animals, that, like, okay, now I have to go down, and, like, feeding is going to take an hour, between dogs, cats, and horses, and that's twice a day, plus lunch, plus late night, plus picking up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just built into the day of running a school and writing books and doing a few other little things like having a million people to my house for 9 days. Oh, I forgot to mention also we have the acupressure for 3 days, which is going to be so fun in person. But anyway, so I feel like, she was a very, it was a very important, like, we see these people that are saving species. We'll be seeing that in a moment. But to see the boots on the ground, I thought was really important. Um, and I really loved that interview. I thought she was absolutely amazing. Claudia.
Um, what impacted me from her interview was that one of the things she said is, as a rescue, don't expect donations to be what's holding you together. Like, it's all her. She knows it's all her. Anything extra is great, but she has taken on this responsibility, and she said her husband and her partnered, and that's crucial because this is, which comes into the story you tell about a student who wanted to open a rescue whose husband didn't really like dogs, right? It's so powerful because, like you said, we take care of animals. We know we have to feed. You have to feed your horses, this and that. That's not even, she has to take care of special needs. Yeah. Acupuncture, herbal, veterinarian, getting neutered, it's
day
when you
after
take
day
something
after day.
on,
Yeah.
it's the reality. And at this point, I've known so many rescues and I know so many people that do it that I would rather support them.
I would rather support them because I'm really, I like my routine, and there would be no routine. Yeah. It would send me over the edge because it'd be like, oh, look, so-and-so's, leg isn't working.
Right?
And I'm pretty good with that, actually. But, I'm very good with those sorts of things. But if that, like, I woke up every day and it was something new like that, well, I guess I could do it.
You could.
Well, the minute animals get older, you're doing it, right? Like, and when you have as many animals as we have, it is sort of like, oh, look, my horse is stuck in the fence. Awesome. So, yeah, I think it's important. And Claire is saying, I know a rescue is ahead for me. Are you going to have a rescue, Claire? Anyway,
I think it boils down to every person, right, Joan? Like, you need to know exactly what you are willing to do and where your strengths lie, and using those strengths to either create your own rescue or help those rescues. For me, it's helping the rescues. I could not run my own rescue, but I can help.
Your husband would keep all the animals.
Well, you know that. I mean,
right? And Elijah would be cuddling and not cleaning boxes and...
right?
Yeah, it'd be you doing the whole thing. You'd have partners, but they would just be like cuddle partners.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. Claire says, yes, once I have recovered from my reset, yes.
That's very cool.
Andrew.
And and then we can all support you.
Exactly.
Because and that goes back to every single person talking about how I just saw that. Thank you, Maria.
Susie too. Okay, we're getting off on a tangent. Stop.
All right. Well, we're gonna have a room full of cuddle partners. Anyway, but for what Claire is saying, that this is what she wants to do. This is absolutely where we connect up and we know what our strengths are, and we come in and help her or help Jill. And every single person somehow said we have to stay as a collective and not be an island, you know? So, okay, so our next guest was Linda Tucker, and she said, and of course she's the founder of the Global White Lion Protection Trust. And I don't know if any of my fellow Star Lionesses are on here, but I'm on a spiritual board with the Gentle Barn, and I'm on a Star Lioness sort of directional board with the White Lions. So if you show love and respect to nature, nature will never harm you. Nature will return the favor in love and respect. You need to know the horror, and then you need to know how to heal your heart or keep this wounded heart that is filled with love. That is what drives you to recognize the solution. I was campaigning against this on the one hand, and I was involved in the solution on the other hand. And so she talks about our role is to really be part of it. What I've really come to understand from the teaching of nature and through constant ceremonial connection with indigenous elders around the globe is that the solution is actually manifesting itself. Our role is to be part of it. But it is to stop believing that it is an absolute disaster that is irreparable. We need to identify that when we bring our natures into alignment with Mother Nature, we have the key to solve things and contribute in our own unique way to a miracle that is taking place at our time, despite humanity's madness. So this is, she's obviously such a powerful person. So I would love to hear what you got from being with Linda Tucker and the White Lions. And there's a white lion. I got that in South Africa. My white lion watches. My desk is actually right there. So, all right. Is anyone typing in?
Claire Trust says she watched it on repeat.
Ooh.
I watched this one repeatedly. Susie says she loves her parable. Waiting. Let's give them a second.
And go back to cuddle partners.
Oh my God. And so, yeah. And then Maria says, it's my jam. giving everybody a minute. Susie said she thought her heart would pop. Yeah.
Susie, I'm going to be putting a trip together for 2024 or 2025 to the White Lions. FYI. I've got Kenya in November 2023. We're starting a, if you want to get on the travel list, you might want to put in the subject line travel list and write to assist@joanranquet.com. Okay, so another place that I want to take people to is up to the orcas in the San Juan Islands. So we had Jenny Atkinson from the Whale Museum, and her most powerful quote was, "Figure out how to consider the needs of the ecosystem and make sure that in times of scarcity, we take less to leave more for others."
Oh, I still get chills.
Yeah. We take less to leave more for others.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear if you learned anything from Jenny Atkinson and the orcas. And Maria, yeah, it's 2022 for
Kenya.
For Kenya, but
and Susie says yes for White Lions.
Why is she not cussing like you?
I don't
Susie,
know.
Does someone have your phone? What the? Yeah.
We're waiting on the whales to see if anybody responds.
And then we didn't get the rest of the quotes, but we'll just talk about some of the other guests we had. Then we had Leif Cox, who is, helped with the... Yeah, you can drive and cuss, Susie. Who is literally taking orangutans out of zoos and places and putting them back and dealing with orphan orangutans. So he was very much about the idea that we have to work from a collective. He was so powerful about, connecting up with other organizations that you are in alignment with and working with them, because there's so much to do with the ecosystem. And he wasn't as hopeful about the miracle of the ecosystem. He was more, and Jenny was the same, more reminding us that, I agree there's a miracle at work, and I agree with the other two that, we have to be part of that miracle, right? In order for that miracle to, we just have to be part of it, and allow it and do our part. Like, I feel like we can't share these interviews from within the group, but they're all up on YouTube, and if you want to share them, I would love that, because if something really spoke to you and you shared it, it would be very powerful to make that happen. And I can see that people are typing in. Maybe you can...
I'm going to read this, yeah.
Who is this?
Lucy Lofting says, "This series, although not seen all of them, has given me context to animal work. Some things have been shocking and made me feel really naive, such as tourists paying to cuddle the lions so they're tame for the shooting parties. I didn't understand the garlanded pit bulls until I heard your speaker. Just seeing animal welfare in its context has been really enlightening and supportive. I work as a Reiki therapist and have done years with dogs in shelters. Thank you, Joan. It's helped."
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love this series.
Oh.
We may do some little spot series again, but I really, just going to say it out loud because I'm speaking it into being, is that I really see this as a live event next February. So if you all want to fly into LA and meet all these people, we kind of got to get to work.
Yeah. I'm going to say, in the advocacy kit, the link to the YouTube video will be in there. So if you want to share it, and you can share the advocacy kit as well. It's just a good kit to have on hand if
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out where you want to help.
In this advocacy kit, we've got the best quotes from the speaker. If the speaker has a gift, it's in there. Or if the speaker has a donation button, it's in there. And it also, so the best quotes, it will have the interview on from YouTube, so you can share that, and it will have it's and the 3 tips. It also, it's just really powerful. We do this after wildlife trips, and we do it during the animal communication healing and um, sanctuaries. So, and it's a very powerful reminder of what we've learned, who we've been with. So if you are not on the handout list, um, please get on that list. Um, so then our next guest was Wycliffe Odera, who is the guide for our trip in to Kenya in 2022. So November, whatever it is, 26th or 27th, the trip starts. And I'm trying to add on gorillas. Anyway, so what we really got to listen, he was amazing. He's an amazing speaker, and he wants to get people out. He's so passionate. He wants to get people out to see what he's seeing every day and he talked a lot about the ecosystem. What did you really enjoy about him, Claudia?
One of the things that really impacted me was the intricacies of the ecosystem, not just the animals, but the culture, the population, how everything is tied in, how, we also talked about this with Leif, and Linda, it's not the poachers. It's the people paying the poachers, right? That's where it's coming from. It's all about the money that's behind all of it.
Behind the rhino horn, behind the elephant tusk, behind the lion bones, behind all of it, right?
Behind the orangutans, it's behind all of it. And Wycliffe, I can't pronounce his name. God, Wycliffe was he's boots on the ground. He sees it. He lives it. He's part of the culture. He sees it, and I love that he wants to show people the reality of it, but and he still has a wonder about him, right?
Oh,
there's no
he's
there's
not
no
bitter.
cynicism.
No,
He's not bitter or cynical, and
no.
I love that, because that's who I would like to show me Kenya.
That's why I pick him. I mean, he just is that guy. So anyway, he will show you from the dung beetle to his eye for something that's living way up in the tree. It is just amazing. And then we also had our next guest was Gabby from the Gibbons Center, and that turned out to be so magical because the Gibbons just sang for about a half an hour, and then we got to do a tour of the Gibbons Center with singing Gibbons. So I'm lucky that I hear them about 6 times a day because I live up the street from them, but I don't think a day should start without singing Gibbons, just personally. So I was so grateful to be able to share that with you. And at one point she said, I don't think they're going to sing. And while she was on camera, I was sitting there talking to Pepper. Pepper, please start the singing. I didn't anticipate that it would be that much because Pepper is the one that starts singing. Anyway, it was magical.
It was Susie says it was music to her ears. It was like being in a magic moment. It was. Leslie Williams loved the Gibbons singing.
Oh my God, what's not to love, right? And then the singing made up for all the atrocities that we had been hearing the last, like orangutans going down with the last tree. Like it really was
Healing.
healing for this series, truly.
It was.
Because then our last guest was Shannon Keith.
Well, Carol Walker.
Oh yeah, Carol Walker with the Mustangs. And then that was just painful because we know that the Mustangs are, being rounded up by helicopter. It's just so, yeah, it's terrible. And that was another person that uses her art for advocacy. And she really talked about how even if you don't think that it's making a difference, that we have to know who to be calling, what representatives, who to be calling to say, this is not okay, there's nothing okay about this. And
it's also starting in your local community, right? It's we start where we are, and then it ripples out.
Yeah. So that was very powerful. And then our last guest was Shannon Keith, and she was absolutely amazing. How she wakes up every day and still fights like she does. She became a lawyer, so she uses law as her weapon, so to speak, to fight in the dark war of animals being tested on in laboratories. And the more I think about what she's doing, the more I just want to support and find a way that the school is absolutely there to help her, because a lot of these animals obviously would be in shock and terror coming out into the world. So, and yet we want them to be supported in their wonderful world that they, potentially could live in. So that was just a really powerful, powerful talk. And someone's got to teach.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh my God. Okay, so anyway, it was very fun to recap. I would love for you, if you have a moment, if you go through the homework, the handout, and again, there's the advocacy kit is coming for those that sign up for the handout. You can get the handout. I'd love for you to continue putting your notes in about what you learned from this series and who spoke to you and what it was that you really, what little tidbit made an aha for you, because all of this is sharing this with each other. We're building this community. We're building this ability to create better for the world. And it's sharing here and then sharing out into the world. So thank you for joining me through all of this, and I'm really grateful we had this series, and I'm really grateful that you were all part of it. I'll be popping in April, but I've got the 9-day intensive, and then I've got 3 days of acupressure, and then, like I said, I bought a flight almost a year ago to go visit my brother. So, please, please, please make sure that you type in some notes, because I really do want to make this a live event, and the more I know that you want this, the more I can maybe get sponsors, maybe get help, maybe get these people here so that we can meet them all in person and really be helping the planet.
And more speakers we're trying to get.
And there's more speakers, yeah, there are more speakers. And I might do a little pop-up of this series again at some point, but I'm really more interested in doing it as a giant live event. Giant and live. And I really also just want to remind you that if this is the work that you are headed to do, to be able to help through animal communication and energy healing, our next round of all roads lead to animal communication level 1, and all roads lead out of animal communication level 1. And that starts April 27th. And then May 12th is the energy healing for animals. And this class, this energy healing for animals, will rock like no other, because it's so fresh for me, because I'm writing the book. Finished chapter 5 last night.
Yay.
In our school, we do silent clapping, and I don't know if anybody saw the Oscars, but because Coda won everything, I loved seeing everybody.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, and we will see you soon.